Alrighty, so Mihara, we got her full overload gear here. Shout outs to my boy Shane. I believe I use Shane's account as well for the Little Mermaid showcase, and I love when I actually do showcases on his account, because when I do the original showcase for them, I use them with the regular skin, but he ends up getting their gacha costume skin, which I'm not gonna lie, if I had the money, genuinely, I would have got the gacha costume skin for both these characters, but I'm not spending $160 on skins. But Mihara's is probably the best skin in the game. I think this whole thing right here screams gacha costume. But we have her full overload gear. She is 10-10-10, and we have the Bayesian cube on her. I did figure out, I did more testing last night, and I figured out why she wasn't doing as much damage, right? She is meant to be used in the second slot for burst 3s, and I'm probably going to use her with litter this time, just because with Little Mermaid she's good for Little Mermaid in terms of she's a machine gun character, but Little Mermaid's buffs aren't that big for this character, I don't feel like, personally. So we're going to try her out with litter, overload gear, and all that stuff. I do want to see the rolls here. So we have crit rate, elemental damage, okay, ammo capacity and attack percent, which is great. Ammo capacity and hit rate, sure, and then ammo capacity and defense. So we have more ammo capacity than anything. Oh, we're about to see someone nutty, right? I'm telling you, the thing is, you want her to use her second burst skill, or you want to use her in the second slot for burst 3, just because she needs time to stack, right? She needs time to stack up, and she's not stacking if you don't have her in the third burst skill, right? I'm pretty sure I did use this account. So we're gonna do this, right? I'm gonna have Rappy on the team. I'm still gonna have Crown on the team, or not Rappy. Well, I am gonna have Rappy on the team. I'm gonna have Litter on the team. I'm gonna have Crown on the team, and then I'm also gonna have Naga on the team, just because I mean, I could use favorite item helm, actually. I could use favorite item helm instead. We're gonna go with this team, and I'm gonna show you guys how nasty she is, right? But yeah, she is actually very good. And then compared to Rappy is also full overload gear, 10-10-10. So we want to see who does more damage between these two. Trust me, after testing her more in the second slot, I would say Mihara is very, very good. But I don't know how good she is with overload gear. I only know how good she is with scope lock, because I don't own the character. I own the character on my free-to-play account, which you guys will see more update, because I've got a lot of good stuff on my free-to-play account. But let's take a look and see, right? So I want to just go to Mihara, to be honest. So I'm not worried about Mihara right here. But the thing is, what Mihara is getting right now, not using her burst skill, is she's getting sustained damage buff for herself, which isn't really useful at all, because she well, I guess it's useful for this, right? The ensnaring chain. This is what's being procced right now. Because she's not using her burst skill yet, but we did enter the burst 3 stage. She's stacking up on that right now, right? She was at 9.8 million, I think, before the burst skill, before we entered the burst 3, and then after, you know, burst 3, she's at 66 mil, which is very crazy, because this character is not meant to be, like, she hasn't even used her burst skill, right? But I do want to just pull it up now. So it's not showing it though. It doesn't show her body contact, but I'm assuming it's proc. But let's take a look and see what it looks like now. So we're going from, okay, our burst generation. This is why we need Little Mermaid. Okay, it's fine. Crown, and then here goes her, right? We're at 91 million to what? 91 million to what? 91 million to what? To 231 million, which is still good, right? 91 million to 201 million. It's just, I still stand by, like, after even now with overload, I still stand by where I say, like, this character is a great DPS. Don't get me wrong, she's gonna hit hard on your team. I think if you own this character, she's gonna do great, right? Especially if you're a new player, right? Like, I have her on my free-to-play account. This character is the strongest character on my account, guaranteed. Like, that's how powerful Mihara is. I just feel like me and a lot of other people as well, when we first read her kit, we thought, okay, this character was going to be a beast in terms of damage, and she is, but not as to the level that we thought she was going to be, which is okay, because she's still a very good DPS, right? We're at 309 million to what, right? You guys can see it under her sustained damage, 13 million, 13 million, 13 million, 13 or 9 million. I do also want to use her with the maids, because somebody in my comments did say, oh, Zxous, use her with the maid, she's good there, right? But yeah, 440 million, yeah, Even in the second slot, like, you know, giving her time to stack and stuff like that, she's kind of like Maiden, right? The Winter Maiden, where you need to use her as a second burst 3 so she can stack up. I just wish maybe I could see it more on an enemy if we go into like some actual content like anomaly interception or something. Maybe I'll be able to see it there. But on this enemy, I'm not sure if the body contact is being stacked on the enemy or something, because it's not being stacked on Mihara. I can tell you that right now. We're at 15, like this move right here, right? Body contact. We won't know if this is being stacked or anything. I guess we would. It would be doing sustained damage every 1 second. That stacks up to 20 times. So basically, this right here should just be doing sustained damage, like even when we're not using her burst skill, right? So right now, it's doing sustained damage, right? Boom, boom, boom. This is from her burst skill, right? Insane numbers, great numbers, all that stuff. She's not critting at all there. There we go, crit. And then she's at 661 million. But let's take a look. So boom, do you see the little sustained damage there? Right, those little sustained damage coming from the bottom of the enemy, that is the stacking of the ensnaring chain, right? That right there is the stacking of the ensnaring chain, I believe, right? Let me stop attacking for a second. Right there. So that number that you see the enemy just getting and getting and getting, that's the stacking of the ensnaring chain. That's why you want her to go second, because once that gets to 20, then she's going to pop off. Right, so after this it resets, right? Everything resets after this. I'm not even gonna attack. I don't want to attack this time around, right? Just so I can show you guys. So yeah, I'm not attacking. Boom, 1 2, hold on, 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. Okay, so we got 17. We got 17 stacks, right? So from 929, now this will do 50% of final attack and sustained damage, which we have a sustained damage buff, times the number of ensnaring chain, which in our case is either 17, 18, or 19, maybe 20, because I think I counted late. So let's take a look. So 929 million to what? To only 1 billion. You know what I think it is though? I think why she's not as powerful is because like when you use her burst skill, right? Only this is procced. Right? That's the thing. This part right here, body contract does not work when you use her burst skill. That's the thing. That's why I think that's why we thought she was gonna do so much damage, but no, she doesn't. It's because when you use her burst skill, the ensnaring chain, which is sustained damage, is removed so that the burst skill can do damage. So she's not necessarily losing damage, but when I read her kit, I thought, okay, she would have the 20%, 25% active from the ensnaring chain on top of the 50% multiplied by the 20%. No, right? Basically, she has her ensnaring chain the entire time, but then when you use her burst skill, the ensnaring chain goes away and then is replaced with her burst skill, which is just doing more damage as sustained damage, right? That is why I know I did stop there a bit, but that's why Mihara is not hitting harder than Rappy, right? Is she a great DPS? 100%. Mihara is a fantastic DPS, 100%. But I think the biggest issue with her is the simple fact that, in terms of when I say biggest issue, I mean in a sense of we lose like damage, is because her ensnaring chain is completely removed. Her skill 1 is completely removed to make room for her burst skill. So basically, rather than it doing 25%, her burst skill is making it do 50%, but it's not adding 25% and 50%, if that makes sense. Hence why she's not doing as much as we thought she would do. But is she a great DPS? 100%. I think she's a great DPS 1000%. I do want to try her out against, I think it's Indivilia. I want to try her against that to see, you know, what we're really working with here. Where is she? Is this Indivilia? Yeah. Just to see what we're working with here. I'm gonna see if I can make room or something. Probably here. This team, no. Where can I make room? Is it this? I think it's this. I'm just gonna try her on Indivilia and see what I can do. I am gonna run her with this team Little Mermaid just because I feel like I will get a lot out of this team. So there is that, because both of them are machine gun characters. Rappy, Crown, and Mihara, which is a valid team, are all machine gun characters, right? So it's probably best for me to use a team like that, so Little Mermaid does more damage herself in this type of stage than to use, like, you know, or whatever, where I'm not gonna get as much damage off. But yeah, I do think these characters are great. Let me go for the tail, because the tail is always the problem. Okay, got the tail. Oh, we didn't get tail. Let's get rid of that tail. Let's get rid of that tail. There we go. I do want to just see her pop off now, right? Because even when you look at her, I think she's great. She hasn't used her burst skill yet, and she's at 33 million, which I feel like is good for someone who, you know, hasn't used her burst skill yet. But 36 million to what? All right, let's take a look. Is she popping off? Is she doing what she's supposed to be doing? Is she doing her big one? Is she a staple in Indivilia? Probably will be. What, 33 million to what? To 122 million? Like, yeah, she's gonna be a crazy DPS 100% for Indivilia. I mean, she's a crazy DPS in general, just not the best DPS in the game, which is fine. But what I say, do you need this character? Honestly, if you need a fire DPS, then sure. But if you don't need another broken DPS, because again, Mihara, I wouldn't say is the strongest DPS. I wouldn't even have her over a lot of some. I think Cinderella's stronger than her. I think Scarlet Black Shadow is stronger than her. I think Rappy is stronger than her. Heck, Laplace might even be stronger than her. No shade. Laplace might be stronger than her. Like, I think there's a decent amount of characters who are stronger than Mihara, right? But that's just because we have so much strong DPSs now, to the point where it's like, I think even Little Mermaid might be stronger than her, huh? I mean, I'm not being funny, but Little Mermaid is not type advantage here. Mihara is, and they're very close together. That's my point exactly. Like, Little Mermaid might do more damage than Mihara in this stage, and that's just because, like, she's a burst one doing insane damage all the time, basically. And I think that's why, like, you know what I mean? Like, Mihara's a great DPS, don't get me wrong, but is she a must-have character? I would say Little Mermaid is a must-have character, but I would not say, what's it called? I would not say Mihara is, like, oh, if I don't have Mihara, like, I'm going to suffer in this game. I wouldn't say that at all. But it's like, if I don't have, it would be nice to have Mihara. So if you had to choose one of the two, Little Mermaid is your girl, 100%. I would say that. But if you can get Mihara, then that's even better. But if you are only able to get one, Little Mermaid is the character you want. And I'm telling you, because you guys can see right here, Little Mermaid's at 233, Mihara's at 235. They're right beside each other, and Mihara is type advantage here. That goes to show. She used her burst skill just now, but that goes to show. You know what I mean? Like, they're neck and neck, and one is a burst one support that is not type advantage using her burst skill every burst rotation, sure, but that's because she's a burst one support. And then you have a main DPS who is necessarily, like, not necessarily that crazy, right? I mean, I don't want to say not necessarily that crazy, but from what I understand, Mihara basically, when you're not using her burst skill, she has 25% ensnaring chain, right? And then when you are using her burst skill, it goes from 25 to 50%, essentially. It's just doubling the damage for like 10 seconds. That's really what's happening, right? So, hey, you guys can see on Indivilia, like, we're cooking up. We still got 50 minutes. We're on only stage 5, though. I don't think we're actually as high as I wanted it to be. It's fine. Oh, I think you just have to follow this path, right? I haven't done Indivilia in quite some time. But then again, I don't need to. Like, I don't need to do. I only care for Kraken when it comes to anomaly interceptions. I don't care for any other stage. I only care for Krakens. Kraken, because they just give me custom modules. I always end up getting the gear regardless in another way. So there is that. I think I need to dodge there. I'm not sure. No, it's fine. I think we're only able to get stage 5 here. But yeah, that's shameful. Like, Mihara is lower than Little Mermaid right now. Like, if we end the burst rotation, which we're probably going to end it on Rappy's burst skill. Oh, Rappy, don't die on me. We're probably going to end the burst rotation on Rappy. Rappy is probably going to... Okay, well, then we're just all dead now. It's fine. It's fine. We're all just dead there, but... Like, I'm not being funny, but Mihara got 835. Little Mermaid got or not 835, 385. Little Mermaid got 375, and then Rappy just dunked on her. Like Rappy just dunked on her. This is what I mean. Both of these two are same investments. I think Rappy might just be better in terms of like ammo capacity, crit rate, crit damage, ammo capacity, attack percent, defense percent, elemental damage, attack percent, ammo capacity, hit rate, elemental damage, and crit damage. Like the rolls on Rappy are better than Mihara's, but not by that much. Where Mihara is doing like 800 million, 700 million less than Rappy. Nah, Mihara's a good DPS, but nothing I need to like go crazy about. I don't know what that showing was in Indivilia, but I was not pleased. In shooting range, I'm okay with it, right? In shooting range, I was okay with it. In Omni Perception, I don't know what that performance was, but it was not okay for me. Anyways, just after the showcase of her with overload gear, 100% believe Little Mermaid is where the value is at, right? 1,000,000,000%. Mihara is great for multiple reasons in terms of she's an overspec Nikke. So if you have her, that's one character you can use for Mistless Tower, which is a good character for Mistless Tower, and then also the Pilgrim Tower. So that's one good reason. She's a very powerful fire DPS, which I'm not going to be funny. We have a decent amount of very powerful fire DPSs. Like, I mean, I can just name you like 5 of them right now. Rappy, Modernia, Grave, Alice, and even Asuka. These are characters right here all do, and even Drake now with her favorite item. All these characters do insane damage. So if you don't need her, you don't need her. In terms of just machine gun characters, I don't even need to speak on that because machine gun characters are just a meta, clearly. I am going to do a video with her and the maids because someone did say use her with the maids, which I don't know why I would do that. Maybe I would get more out of using Mihara with Crust, but I don't see why I would be using her with with the maids, because they give distributed damage. Crust gives sustained damage, right? And not by that much, but she does give sustained damage on her burst skill, which it would probably be helpful. I'm not sure, but overall, am I happy with Mihara's performance? No, I'm not. I am. I just thought it would be more, and maybe it's my fault for not understanding it properly, because I'm not gonna lie, when I read her kit, I was confused. You guys seen it on video and stuff like that. I was confused multiple times in a row. But Mihara is a great character. I just prefer Little Mermaid. That's just what it is. But let me know if you guys agree. If you don't agree, it's your boy Zxous, and I'm out. Peace.